right, Keith, what do we get into?
Yes, we're gonna do our warp pipe rental. So every week we pick a game that we're going to rent for the weekend. We're gonna play it. We're going to see what we think about it. We'll give it a rating. We invite you to join us a little later on in the episode. We will talk about what game we're gonna look at next week. This week was Super Metroid, right? So what did you guys think of that one?
Wait, we gotta do our intro. Intro time.
Let's head to the video store, grab a game for the weekend. We have the box art and description to guide us when we're choosing what game to rent. So grab your rental card because this is the Warp Pipe Rental.
What game you rent for the weekend?
Hey,
We'll get this
what's great?
figured out.
I was gonna say what's great at the end of the intro of Warpipe Rental, I did use Super Metroid as one of the games.
Perfect.
Nice. Yeah, so we did rent Super Metroid. Look at this freaking box art.
It's great.
It's got
Now,
good
Keith,
bright colors on it. Yeah.
I think, Keith, you and I have not played it, right? Up until this weekend?
I had never played it before, so we're going in with wide open eyes. This is like we were 14 or 10 and rented it for the
Right,
first time.
right. So I treated it like a true rental, like I was a kid, where I literally started it on. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I started it on Sunday,
Okay.
um,
It's all right.
just because I had a busy week. I went toy hunting, so started it Sunday, but I took like 3 days, and I remember we used to have to return games like the third day by like noon or something. So I literally timed it out so it would be like an actual rental.
Okay. Cool.
So, uh, so yeah, what did you think, Keith?
Well, how I jumped into it was I was busy all week, and at the end of it here, I had half an hour to try it out. So, my thoughts are going to be pretty close on the start of it, but
Okay.
I like the music. I thought the music was really good. Being someone that's never played it before and jumping into it, and the start threw me a little bit because I only had a limited amount of time to play it. I was out riding
Okay.
bikes and stuff before. So when I got into it, there was a lot of story at the start. There was a lot of
Right.
telling me
Catch you up
what
to
was
speed.
happening, right? And I couldn't skip through it or
Right.
make it go
Right?
any
Yeah,
faster.
yeah.
So that
Okay.
kind of held me back a little bit, I think. But then when I got into it, the way it looked and the way it sounded made me want to play more of it.
Mm,
So I ended up venturing all the way down and venturing over and getting to that first space and then beating that guy by the skin of my teeth because I didn't know what I was doing.
yeah.
And then it
Was
entered
that
that
the
next
spore
level,
spawn?
whatever was in the little vial, yeah. And then that thing came and had a hold of it and was whipping its
Oh,
tail at me and
Ridley.
shooting fireballs
Yeah.
at
So
me.
the very
Yeah.
beginning at the space
The
station.
Yeah.
very, very beginning. And then the space station blew up and then was at the next one. And I
Mhm.
just wanted to keep playing it. Like, I don't own it right now. I played it on
Okay.
the computer. Again, I emulated it, but this time I didn't use a keyboard, I actually used a
There you
Xbox
Nice.
go.
controller, which
That
worked.
works.
So my hands aren't cramping this time, but I'm gonna buy it. It's gonna be one on my list that I'm gonna pick up now so I can play more
Yeah.
of it because I did really enjoy it. Again, the music, the look, the vibes, when you exit that second stage and all of a sudden there's bad guys there, it's like, ooh, goodness, there's I have to run away from these guys or shoot them. And then when you get whatever the upgrade is, as far as I made it, I got an upgrade. The roller balls or whatever they are, where you turn the ball and you can drop the bombs. I picked that up, and then all of a sudden, that statue turned into a monster, and I was like, "Oh no!" And then I promptly died.
Oh, was that what was his name? Kraid?
It's a
No,
very good
no.
question.
It wasn't great. It was just one of the like Chozo statues.
Oh, and we're down at David again.
I hope I didn't hit something. I was trying to share gameplay. I didn't want to share that. Let's see. Remove. I'm having issues here. Stop screen share. Share this. That one. That's what I. No, it keeps going to this. Why is it there? All our technical issues today.
Right?
So you only played basically a half hour
Yeah,
of the
basically.
gameplay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't have a lot of depth into it, but if it was a weekend rental, I would have begged my parents to buy it for me so I could play it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely for sure. I did end up, as you can see here, I did end up live streaming the game prior to recording the podcast. I live stream every Wednesday, and again, it's tough to treat it exactly like a rental because super busy for the weekend, right? We get the podcast going Wednesdays. I got to edit it and get it up. So usually Fridays I can't dive into the game. So I did play it for 2 hours straight on my live stream, and I got fairly far in it. I mean, you definitely got to sink some hours into this game for sure
Ah,
to really beat it. But I did have also the Nintendo Power issue here
nice.
with Super Metroid on it. So it does have I think it's only like 8 pages in it, and it has maps in it too, so very helpful, uh, helping you navigate around. This does have a map in game, but it doesn't show you where, the power-ups are, the secrets are.
Yeah.
So it certainly could be a struggle without having that to help you guide you along. And there was a more expensive book that is just strictly Super Metroid only. One of those guides, much like there was a Super Mario Brothers 3 guide you can get through Nintendo Power. I guess the guide now for Super Metroid is like $150 like on eBay going for. And I'm like,
Nice.
oof, I don't think I could spend $150 in some paper for
Yeah,
that.
no
But
doubt.
definitely going back, this was my original copy of the game. None of the save states or save files rather were there. So the battery has
Oh,
since been dead. So even me streaming tonight for 2 hours, I can't save my progress because once I shut the console
oh,
off, that's it. It's gone. So I
yeah,
said maybe I'll end up doing a video replacing the batteries on this one. Anything
yeah,
else that has saves, Chrono Trigger,
yeah.
Zelda: Link to the Past, any of those because now they're 25 years old. The batteries aren't holding up, so it's like
Right?
time to replace them. Unfortunately,
Yeah, no doubt. So, yes. What were what were any cons you found while you're playing it? Anything you didn't like?
what's funny is I was playing. I have here. I'll show you guys. I did have a custom overlay controller that I had made with a sticker that says Super Metroid. So I make these custom overlay decals similar to what you would find in the Nintendo Power. They had NES ones, and I think they had some Super Nintendo ones too. So I made this one and I was playing with this controller. And then I was like, I thought you could hold right and point Samus's gun up and run. And it wasn't working. And then I had paused the screen and it's like press R for statistics or whatever. And I was like, you know what? My left and right buttons don't work on this controller. So I had to find a
Oh,
new controller to play with. And I was like, that makes it a lot easier.
that would explain it for sure.
Yeah, I
And
mean, getting used to the controls is definitely tough.
when did you get that copy, your childhood copy? Like, if you had
Uh,
how long have you had that for?
I mean, easily, within maybe 6 months of when it released, right? It probably came
Mhm.
out easily. Some of my friends had it and I played it at their house, right? And then got into it and then either got my copy for a birthday present because again, you're only getting games very few
Yeah,
per
they were
year.
expensive, right?
Right. Easily this was, 60 or $70, maybe
Absolutely.
even $80 when it came out, trying to think of the
Yeah,
Toys R Us ads or whatever.
yeah,
Uh, so you either had to wait for a birthday, Christmas, maybe a really good report card or something like that. But thank God
yeah,
friends had some copies of it, so I was able to play it at their house.
hmm,
But definitely a fun one to go through. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it too. We could get into some comments on what you
yeah.
guys were saying about the game there.
What did you say? What did you say?
Springfield, let's hear from you.
All right, we'll jump over to Instagram. I think we had one comment on there. for a warp pipe rental. We do post these on Friday on Instagram in case you want to get in on the action. Jay Geeky. No, I bought it from a Caldor department store in a local mall in Massachusetts. So we were asking, did you rent this back in the day? Essentially was our question. But I guess he bought his copy at a Caldor store. I don't know if you guys had Caldors over in Canada.
No, I've never heard of a Caldor, but I'm sure we have ones that you don't have, like the Bay.
Yeah, never heard of that one.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Let's see
What
what
else we
else.
got?
I think we had. Did we do a short on this one here? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ty's Gaming said, I remember renting this game as a kid and getting so lost and didn't quite catch my attention. Now, almost 30 years since I have played it, I can honestly say I love this game. I love the music. The controls felt awkward at first, but I got adapted pretty easily. It looks beautiful and just a ton of fun. This time around, I did go with a strategy guide so I wouldn't get lost, but it hasn't taken away from the game. At the time of writing this, I have beaten Kraid, and by the time this episode airs, I am hoping to have beaten this entire game. Fantastic game.
Nice.
5 out of 5, he says.
Well, I'm
Nice.
hoping he's beat it too. I really need to find this one so I can beat it. Oh, and we're back to full power. Look at that.
StreamYard's definitely not getting my money.
What you
I'm really
think about?
I'm
Say
really
what
bummed too because I was
bummed?
I'm really excited about
Super
Super
Metroid?
Metroid. Yeah, so
Well,
I'm
it's all
sorry.
you.
Like I'm getting a little aggravated. So
It's all you. What'd you think?
we're gonna
Tell us
push
about
on.
your
I
playthrough.
loved it. Like I absolutely loved it. I thought it was great. I the only thing that is close that I've played was Axiom Verge,
Right,
um,
right.
which is almost basically identical now that I'm looking. You know, so I did. I played it for 3 days. I did fairly well. What I love about it is like I love the exploration. I love the platforming. It's got RPG elements of like upgrading all of your weapons and your speed and all that stuff, like updating Samus.
Mhm.
Um, the music is great. There's a track on there actually called Space Pirates Emerge. I had to look it up, and it sounds so much like the depths in Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Like, it
Um,
reminded me of it, like, immediately. But yeah, I absolutely loved it, and honestly, like, I've never played it before, and I wanna finish it. So, I think I'm gonna do that, so I'm excited about
Nice.
it.
and you're playing on like a Super Nintendo cart or how you playing it,
No,
Dave?
I'm playing it on the Switch online service.
Okay,
So it's, it's upscaled. I use my Switch Pro controller, although I do have the Super Nintendo Switch controller, so I
okay.
could use that if I wanted to. But I like the feel of the Pro controller for
Pro controller.
yeah, for the Switch. But I loved it, every single bit about it, and I I'll rave about it. So it was a good rental.
Now, I've
Nice,
got a
nice.
feeling that what the numbers for ratings are going to be on this one. So, David, was there anything you didn't like about it?
Is there anything I didn't? The only thing that I didn't like, well, I don't think it was more an issue of the game. I think it was my issue. Is sometimes the platforming with the jumps. Sometimes I feel like they overcompensated a little bit when I pushed on the button, like depending on how hard I pushed it, because I did get a lot of the upgrades. So I got the super jump. Um, I got a lot of stuff in it. I ended up going through Spore Spawn and Kraid,
Mhm.
and that's kind of where I left it. I think the last thing I got was the ice uh blaster, whatever. I don't know
Yeah,
what
yeah,
it's
Ice
called.
Beam.
Ice beam. Yeah. So I think that's like the last thing that I ended up getting. But no, I mean for the most part, I would say like 99.9% of it was a damn near perfect game.
So, out of five, what would you give it?
Um, I would have to give it a 5. 5 is my pick.
I barely played it. and I'm gonna give it 5
Keith put in like half an hour. He's like, yeah, 5. I could see.
Oh,
I could see
really?
the roots.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I probably put in like 4 or 5 hours and not knowing anything. I didn't really like look anything up. I just kind of went through it how I would normally go through it. Towards the tail end, I wanted to get a little bit further, so I did look up a few little things of, backtracking and stuff like that because Russ had
Yeah.
told me that there was some backtracking. So I was like, okay, well, now that I have upgraded, let me go back and see if I missed anything. So I did do that. So
Obviously,
And
I'm
Russ, what
giving
about
it a 5 as well. Yeah, 5 stars for
you?
sure.
I knew it was
it was
gonna
a
be
good
5s
one.
across the board.
Yeah, for sure.
There was one more on one of our reels on our YouTube. Sean was saying the GOAT. It got a perfect score in GamePro magazine back then,
Hmm.
I believe. So even back then, people were raving about Super Metroid. And you can watch the series Games Done Quick, which is a charity event where people speed run games and they raise money. Everyone comes out for the Super Metroid one. It's a big, big deal. And I don't know if you guys know, at the end of the game, you have an option to save these animals that help you in the game. There's a little extra bit you can do while you're trying to escape the planet before it blows up, right? You got a timer going, so you can save them or you can leave them. And there's a big debate, and they have a battle of like what are you gonna do? Who donates to which cause?
Mm,
But definitely go back, beat this game, enjoy
yeah,
it, and it's a good one for sure.
yeah. And next week, for our game, we're gonna do. I was keeping it with SNES,
Okay.
and we're gonna play Battletoads and Double Dragon. So I figured we'll go and do some beat 'em up style again on SNES. We
Okay.
did it on Sega Genesis, so let's see how it goes with Super Nintendo. And this is another game that I have not played yet.
Right. I think I played this probably once, but can't remember it. So we did
Yeah.
do a Double Dragon. So now this is combining Double Dragon with Battletoads. You can choose either or character.
Okay,
I've got it on the NES, but I'll try it on Super Nintendo.
sweet.
Excellent.
Sounds good.